We are here to inspire, inform, and connect a community of entrepreneurs. This is Business Rockstars. I'm Pat O'Brien. Seth Streeter is with us. Hello, Seth.
Hey, Pat.
Nice to have you. Drove down from Santa Barbara today. So you must be doing well. That's a great community to live in.
It's a great community. Feel very fortunate.
Now, you are co-founder of Mission Wealth. What's that?
It's a wealth management company that we founded 17 years ago, and we work with about 800 families today, and we've been growing nationwide. And it's a service business, so we're here to help families kind of empower them to achieve their goals, to make smart choices with their wealth, and to also help their families become prepared for wealth.
Have you always been involved in the financial end?
I have been, yeah. I mean, since right out of college, it's now been 25 years I've been in the finance area. But the business and the industry have really evolved, so it's never a dull moment.
Well, the clients have been evolved, right? I mean, baby boomers are now out there, and I assume most of them haven't saved enough money.
It's really true. And the mindset around wealth has really shifted. You know, it used to be, like my parents' generation, is you went where there were jobs, you made your family kind of move accordingly,
right,
and you built your life. And now millennials are saying, no, my lifestyle comes first. You know,
right,
the job can come second, my lifestyle is what's my priority, and I'll just find a way to work so I have the maximum flexibility to do what I want to do. Very different from the generation or two before them.
What are the 9 dimensions of wealth I see this year?
Well, the 9 dimensions of wealth really has been something that I've expanded as I've worked with hundreds of families over the years. I've seen how people initially focus on success being all about the money. Do I have enough money? Can I do the things I want to do? But really, I started to realize that people may have all the money and all the material possessions in the world, but they might not still be happy or fulfilled. And so in my work, I've identified 8 other categories besides finance. And those categories begin with impact, the impact that they have in their community or maybe the world at large. It goes into their emotional well-being, which is their general attitude, how well they sleep, their stress levels. We then get into their social connections. And so,
money can't buy me love.
It can't. So it's the quality of their intimate relationships, their friendships, their relationships in the community.
How do you connect that to money?
Well, it's really connected to wealth. So it's really about wealth and how wealthy are you. We should be looking at metrics outside financial metrics when we assess someone's wealth. So social relationships aren't necessarily money, but they are a part of someone's wealth, because if you're working all the time and you're a stranger to your family and friends, are you really wealthy? If you can't climb 2 flights of steps without being winded because you're not healthy, do you have wealth? So a lot of people would argue no.
Did you always want to be an entrepreneur?
Always. Yeah, ever since I was a kid, I started businesses.
What made you think you could be?
I just didn't know I couldn't be, really. And I always kind of dared to dream. Throughout college, I had small little businesses I worked on and started. So I've always kind of known I could work for myself. When I was in college, I wanted to make mom and dad happy and get a job that had good benefits. That's what they thought I should have. So I found financial services largely because it allowed mom and dad to be happy with me working for large companies with solid benefits, but yet me being able to build my own business as an entrepreneur.
Your parents lived in South Dakota, right?
They're from South Dakota, yeah.
I'm pretty familiar with that area.
Yes, you are.
So what about Madison, South Dakota? What about that made them want you to be a wealth advisor?
Well, I wouldn't say that my parents necessarily wanted me to be a wealth advisor, but they grew up.
They wanted the cabin on the lake.
Yeah, they grew up in a very tight-knit family,
yeah,
and a very strong work ethic as farmers. Both sets of my grandparents were farmers, and so they instilled in my brother and I just a tremendous work ethic, and they wanted us to be successful, to do our best, and to hopefully make a difference. And so my mom and dad were really inspirational in that way. They both did really well in their careers, and so I just set out to say I want to work hard, I want to make a difference. And I was always an entrepreneur, which was different than they were, so I wanted to do it my way.
How many people work in your office?
27.
27. How's that managed?
Well, we have a headquarters in Santa Barbara. We also have 5 other locations, and so we centralize certain operations.
Couldn't find a better place, by the way, for a headquarters.
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, you want to build your business where you want to live, right? So
Lucky's.
That was part of daring to dream, is build it where you want to live. So we have our kind of central operations out of Santa Barbara, and then we have other offices in Northern California, Los Angeles area, Colorado, Arizona.
How has your business, Mission Wealth, grown over the last 10 years?
It's grown tremendously.
Right.
We've doubled just in the last 5 years in size, And we've really institutionalized a lot of the service offerings that we provide and a lot of the systems and technology that we use. We use top-notch technology. But really, it's still a people business. So at the end of the day, you have to find ways to connect with people and add value with people. And you have to find ways to kind of move up the value chain as other technology solutions are coming in for the more commoditized components of investment management. We've had to find ways to really add a lot of value above that.
We are here to inspire, inform, and connect a community of entrepreneurs. This is Business Rockstars. I'm Pat O'Brien. Seth Streeter is our guest. You know, you watch TV today, and almost every other, especially on the cables, CNN, and almost every other ad is about finance.
Right.
Do you have enough money? Did you save enough money? What are you going to do? Come call us. Have you seen that implode in your area too?
Oh, we've absolutely seen, the impact of media and how that's kind of steered individuals to have a mindset of what success is. Typically it's the nice car, it's maybe the boat, it's the travel, it's material possessions, and that has fueled a lot of people to make sometimes very poor choices with money. And so we really start with a foundation where we help people identify and prioritize all their goals, all their current assets, liabilities, cash flow, and then come up with a sustainable plan for their future so that they can have financial independence. If they want to work, great, but they can work by choice.
Right. How do you pull them out of that mindset?
We have a process that we take clients through where we help them kind of reflect on some deeper issues, and we ask questions around their career.
What?
For instance, are you passionate about your career? Do you love what you're doing? Do you feel like it's leveraging all of your talents and skills? And Pat, you'd be amazed how many people are doing jobs that they don't love. They're doing jobs just because. I see them
all the time.
Yeah. And so we can go in there, and I have a number of examples where we've helped people kind of reevaluate where they are in their lives and help them kind of lean into an area that they kind of didn't know they could dream about and make a reality.
So you're kind of a life coach / investor.
It's an integration of the two. I mean, you have to have the substance of the financial planning and the investment acumen, but you also have to be able to help people kind of shape their lives in a direction they want to go.
And is that difficult?
Extremely difficult.
I was going to say, because you're dealing with some high, what's the word? In their own ways.
Yes.
I'm not changing for you, pal.
Yes. And so, there's rigidity. We all have kind of arrived where we are
That's the word I was looking for.
Based on, shaping that we've had from our families and from society at large. So, I had a corporate attorney who was making well over $1 million a year, and he was working all the time, flying all the time. He had a bad back, so he was miserable. And after meeting with he and his wife, I realized that his passion was really history. And so I said, how about you find a way to do something in history? He said, how am I going to, keep this house? Because they had a beautiful estate home.
Right.
And after working with them about some different kind of financial planning angles, they realized that he could work much later in life if he did work that he enjoyed, that they could downsize their home later in life once their kids were out of the house, and that they didn't need this country club they never visited. And lo and behold, 2 years later, he became a high school history teacher. And he's really happy. They get to travel during the summers, which is what his wife always wanted to do. And so, yes, he's going to have to work a little later in life, but I would say he's much wealthier today than he was before.
But don't you find that almost everybody's working later in their life?
Yes.
Nobody retires at 60.
And it's a really healthy thing to do,
Yeah.
To be able
Why?
to keep working, because it keeps your mind intellectually stimulated. It makes you feel like you have a purpose. It connects you socially to a lot of different types of people. I mean, there's a lot of studies that show that staying engaged is a key aspect to longevity.
Not engaged is an aspect of stress and heart attacks and strokes and
Right.
all that kind of stuff.
And just not having that sense of purpose of why you're getting up every day. So being able to get up every day and be engaged and feel like you're out there to make a difference, that's key. And every entrepreneur, it's all about their passion. That's the fuel behind their organization.
First thing you go in, what do you ask for? Somebody calls you in and you're going to help them. What's the first thing you ask for?
First, we need to get together with uninterrupted time to really evaluate where they are. And I always start where the client is. So I always say, what's top of mind for you? And usually it's coming from the financial area. I just want to retire. I just sold my company.
How many of them are not attainable?
Almost all of them are attainable. It's just a matter of degree.
Right.
So it's helping them to really formulate, a realistic set of kind of goals and guidelines. It's attainable. People can make major pivots in their life they don't realize. They just never really hit the pause button long enough to reflect and redirect on things that they would rather do.
Do you think a lot of people think that's just too radical for them?
I think people never even think about it. They don't.
I don't either.
They don't think about what they could do and how they could do it. And so when you have then a credentialed team that can walk them through a systematic process to really evaluate what is realistic, it's just wonderful to see the transformation.
What's the culture around your office, 27?
We have a really, really strong culture. That's the thing that I'm most proud of for our company. I always say that culture eats strategy for breakfast. So you can have the best laid plans, but if people aren't getting along and they're not aligned toward a common goal, those plans aren't going to be executed on.
We are here to inspire, inform, and connect a community of entrepreneurs. This is Business Rockstars. I'm Pat O'Brien. Back in a minute. We are here to inspire, inform, and connect a community of entrepreneurs. I'm Pat O'Brien. This is Business Rockstar. Seth Streeter is our guest, and he runs Mission Wealth. The term wealth has changed, hasn't it? I mean, wealth used to me mean the Carnegies and the Mellons and that sort of thing.
Right. It really has shifted, yeah, and it's shifted in a lot of different ways. It used to be that people would simply invest for return, and now people are investing for impact and for alignment with socially responsible investing. People, used to spend money, make purchase decisions based on the lowest cost, and now they make decisions based on how a product is sourced and maybe what the purpose is, behind the company. People used to get a career just based on the biggest paycheck, and now people, we talked about millennials before, will go work for a company for less money because they feel aligned with the values and mission behind the company.
Yeah, I've always said never do anything for the money.
Right.
I mean, the first couple months is great.
Yeah.
And I've done that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And a very famous executive in television said, Pat, you're making a mistake. Don't ever do anything for the money. And it was a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did it, and I was miserable.
Right.
How has financial help changed?
Financial advice used to largely be just about numbers, cash flow, tax returns, estate plans, investment portfolios. And now it's really becoming more broad. I call it holistic capital. So if someone has all the money in the world, as we referenced, but they're not happy in their life, they're not physically healthy, they don't have relationships, they're not in a career that's aligned, they're not intellectually stimulated, then they're not really wealthy. And so now my industry is beginning to measure metrics around holistic wealth, not just the financial numbers.
And that's who you know, what you do, your passion,
Yeah, we have these 9 dimensions of wealth that are each really critical. So it's impact, the difference that you're making, it's your emotional well-being, it's your relationships, it's how much fun you have in your life, it's your physical health, it's your spiritual kind of groundwork to a framework beyond yourself, it's your intellectual wealth, your intellectual capital, and then it's your career.
Right. How many people out there do you think had so much fun, but now they don't have any money?
I think a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you can be wealthy and have a lot of fun. You can be spiritual and really wealthy. And I think it used to be people thought those were two extremes. You either had to be the capitalist who made a lot of money or the yoga retreat person who was happy and spiritually peaceful. You can integrate those two, and that's really the key.
I think the rock stars, the older rock stars that are around,
Yeah.
are the best examples. I mean, guys that literally tried to kill themselves with drugs and alcohol.
Right, and then I've worked with some, rock stars and athletes where they come into a lot of money in a very short period of time, and then they burn through it, and 5 years later, it's amazing. They have virtually nothing.
I remember a basketball player came into camp one year, and he had like a Maybach Mercedes.
Right.
And he put another $100,000 into it. And I said, you are not going to last. But you got good speakers in your car. So is there much pushback on this when you come to a company? I mean, people are so set in their company ways.
Well, I don't start with this. We start with the traditional financial planning, investment management. Usually it's when someone's had what I call a life event. They've gone through a divorce. They've just sold their company. Maybe they just lost a parent. They've just, retired. That's usually when people become a little more reflective and they start to say, what's it all about? I've made this money, now what? So sure, I need to invest it, properly, and I need to make sure I'm spending reasonably and I'm smart with my taxes. But what else is there to life beyond just managing my money?
You're pretty active yourself, right?
Yes.
You volunteer a lot. You're physically fit. You connect with a lot of people. I mean, that's all good stuff.
I feel really lucky. I'm a dad. I have 2 wonderful children.
And you live in Santa Barbara.
And I live in Santa Barbara.
And I hate you for that, too. Not really. But what a great place. And you also meet a lot of people up there that probably could use some help, too, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we're really lucky. Santa Barbara attracts a lot of wealth, a lot of fascinating people who can live anywhere, choose to live there. But again, I'm in Los Angeles. I'm in San Francisco. My team is really covering the whole United States. So we have wonderful advisors all over the country, and we meet fascinating people everywhere.
So, inspired life purpose. I think that's what everybody wants.
Yes.
Be happy.
Right, to be happy.
And have some change.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Well, inspired life purpose is a process that I've worked with, and a lot of CEOs, by the way, really lean into this, which is a series of circles where the top left circle, I talk about their natural gifts, the things that have just come easy to them their whole lives. They've always said, Pat, you're just great at this.
Right.
And then the top right circle is their skills and their experience, their training that they've kind of learned over the years. And then the bottom left circle is their passion, the things they just love to do. If they had all the time and money in the world, this is where they'd spend their time. And then the bottom right circle are the trends that they see out there or the greatest need. And so when you intersect those 4 circles, that area is where your inspired life purpose really can form.
So how do you explain to people, let's say entrepreneurs listening out there, that you should start a little earlier maybe than...
Well, absolutely. I mean, hopefully an entrepreneur has started a business based on a passion, right? So they should be starting from there. If they're not starting from there, it could be a really challenge because that passion
If
is
they started just for the money?
just for the money or just because of an opportunity. They have to have that passion because things will be challenging at times and that passion is their fuel. But once they've done that, then it's a matter of saying, okay, how can they further express themselves and their unique gifts and be really authentic as part of the formation of their company? So what about them is unique that can then be turned into the product or service?
Why are people afraid, Seth, to just completely change their lives?
Because it's scary.
Yeah.
Society has told us to go down the direct and narrow, work your way through school to get into a good college, get out of college, get a good job,
9
work
to
your way
5,
up the career
2 weeks
ladder,
vacation,
get a house, get some kids. That's your life, right?
Right.
That's the routine script that we see.
And from this chair, I'm seeing more younger people who just said, the hell with that, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Got out of college, started an app or a business or something, and did their own thing, and they're very happy.
Yes, and that's why I love working with entrepreneurs because they tend to already be oriented that way. So when you can take someone who's already oriented that way and then amplify their gifts and amplify their reach even further, it's tremendously rewarding work.
What advice would you give to entrepreneurs out there about keeping your staff focused on themselves as well as work?
Well, I think
without affecting the work.
Yeah, I mean, balance is key, and it starts by leading by example. So, you want to have work ethic, as I shared, and you want to have that passion. But if you don't have proper fuel due to nutrition or exercise or sleep, then the business is not going to be sustainable. And same with your key team members. So demonstrating as part of the corporate culture that balance is important. So, we will go do a yoga class as a company. We will do offsites and go volunteer together. We've done Habitat for Humanity or volunteered at a food bank. Showing them that there's different dimensions besides just work helps the team come together. It keeps tremendous employee loyalty, and clients and customers really appreciate that too.
I find that a lot of people are, we talked about this before, are buying into it, sounds bad, but are buying into this because it is better for you.
It's better for you, and it also is better for the business. Again, as we shared, consumers are making choices where they want to buy from companies that are mission-driven. And so when a company is about more than just profit, then you're going to have actually more growth as far as people wanting to buy your product or service and people wanting to work for you.
How have people with money changed?
I think people with money are really realizing that it's not just about them, that they are creating a legacy with their family, with their children, their grandchildren, and also in the communities that they serve. So I think we've actually found that people with wealth are becoming more mindful. They're becoming more aware of the importance of the stewardship of their wealth, and they don't take it as lightly as they did before.
Mindfulness is not just a hippie deal.
Not just a hippie deal.
It's a life deal.
It's a life deal.
Seth, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much, Pat.
Seth Streeter, Mission Wealth. This is Business Rockstars. I'm Pat O'Brien. We'll see you next time.